top stories. Tourism Minister announces that cruise ships will return in June. Prime Minister thanks the public for assisting St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and hotels offer rooms to accommodate evacuees. The details on these stories and more after the break.
In your formative years, we were there. When you got the good news and the bad, we were right there with you. Through all your great adventures, we were always right by your side. Now that life has thrown us a curveball, we are still here. And as we navigate this difficult period, the SKCCU will continue to be there for you and your family to help you through. We will assist you in safely and efficiently accessing your funds through our digital platforms, online banking, mobile banking, ATMs, and even our drive-through services. We can get through this together with responsible financial decisions by making food and medication a priority, practicing proper hygiene, maintaining social distancing, and constant prayer.
We're here for you.
We're still here.
We will get through this together.
SKCCU will continue to be your financial partner for life.
Without limits, happy and free. The skin you're in with no apology. The one to seize the day. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. With LLB. Live, love, be. Live, love, be. Be who you know you can be. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. Angostura, lemon, lime, and bitters. Live, love, be.
Trustworthy, secure, reliable, and responsive. These are just some of the words customers use to describe their experience with the Bank of Nevis Limited. And after 35 years of delivering excellent customer service and honoring our corporate social responsibilities in the island of Nevis, we are finally coming to St. Kitts. Come and experience why we're not just another option. We are the standard. Bond strong.
Welcome to the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. I'm Carla Berridge. Cruise ships will return to St. Kitts in a phased approach in June. The announcement was made by Minister of Tourism, Honorable Lindsay Grant, at a tourism stakeholders meeting on Wednesday, where he said the Ministry and the Tourism Authority have been in discussion with the Ministry of Health. He said vaccinated visitors of tours and attractions are the pathway to full recovery, noting that cruise passengers and persons interacting with them will have to be vaccinated as part of the phased approach.
The phased approach is going to be that any cruise line that comes to St. Kitts and Nevis, all the crew will have to be vaccinated, and all the passengers likewise will have to be vaccinated. Now, what does that mean? Obviously, it means that, likewise, we are going to have to be vaccinated. And so the policy going forward for us will be that any purveyors of the industry will have to be vaccinated.
The tourism minister said all requests for cruise ships must come through the St. Kitts Tourism Authority during this phase and outlined the requirements.
All crew and passengers over the years of 18 years must be vaccinated. Children under 18 must present a negative RT-PCR test within 72 hours prior to home port disembarkation, and negative RT-PCR test taken 72 hours prior to home port departure for all onboard guests and crew. All travel approved tours and attractions, employees and agents interfacing and interacting with the vessels and engaging in tours must be vaccinated. All
Minister Grant noted that while it is necessary to reach 100% immunity in the tourism sector, vaccination is not mandatory.
We're not making vaccination mandatory, so let me put it quite clearly, so we don't have any miscommunication in the message. We are not saying the vaccination is mandatory. We are saying to you, as a policy, we are asking the employers to make sure that the employers are vaccinated and that every single employee who will come into contact with the passengers and the crew are likewise vaccinated.
He said staff who do not take the vaccine will be required to take an RT-PCR test at their own cost every 2 weeks. Tour operators on island will be required to agree to random testing or testing requirements decided by the Chief Medical Officer at the employer's or employee's expense. Prime Minister Dr. The Honorable Timothy Harris has applauded the efforts of ordinary citizens and residents to mobilize support for the people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines affected by the volcanic eruptions on the Caribbean island over the weekend. The Prime Minister made the comment during Tuesday night's edition of Leadership Matters.
I am pleased, as the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, to acknowledge that in less than a week, St. Kitts and Nevis has mobilized a substantial and comprehensive response to the situation facing the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Apart from my government, the rest of our society has responded well.
Authorities here, through the coordination of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, are preparing to ship 2 containers filled with needed supplies to the neighboring Caribbean territory.
Notwithstanding our small size, we could so quickly put a large quantity of food and non-food items identified by the government of St. Vincent and Grenadines on their list of needs, including baby food, water, feminine napkins, pampers, etc.
These items are in addition to the comprehensive humanitarian package announced by the government of St. Kitts and Nevis over the weekend to assist St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, has since reached out to Prime Minister Harris to express gratitude to the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as the citizens and residents for their strong show of solidarity. The La Soufrière volcano erupted on Friday, April 9th, displacing more than 20,000 persons residing in danger zones who were forced to evacuate their homes. Several hotels have come on board to assist evacuees from St. Vincent and the Grenadines by providing accommodations for persons who will be coming to St. Kitts and Nevis. On Tuesday's edition of Leadership Matters, National Disaster Coordinator at the National Emergency Management Agency, Abdias Samuel, outlined the contributions from various properties that have donated rooms for the evacuees.
The Koi Hotel, when they were engaged and this humanitarian assistance that we want to provide to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, made available 70 rooms that can accommodate 2 to 3 individuals. The St. Kitts Marriott Hotel came forward as well, and I want to thank them for also identifying 30 rooms that can be used to assist these individuals. And equally so, Sugar Bay Club, in discussion with the Marriott group of, the Rams group of companies, also indicated that 30 rooms would be available. So that totals 130 rooms on St. Kitts.
He said 30 hotel rooms have been made available from a hotel on Nevis. That makes a total of 160 rooms available for the displaced persons. Mr. Samuel said they are also encouraging private individuals who wish to offer accommodation to contact NEMA.
We are also advocating for individuals to be persons who are interested citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as Vincentians residents who are here, and they want to accept their families or displaced persons from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that they can do so. They can register at NEMO, and then they will be consulted by the team that we are putting together.
The provision of accommodation is part of the Federation's multi-pronged outreach to assist St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The government has agreed to donate $1 million to evacuation and resettled efforts, and earlier this week the Federation shipped $150,000 worth of supplies to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As the nation's roll-up to roll-out vaccination campaign continues, we now take a look at the latest vaccination report. After the break, Police High Command meets with the Vincentian officers, and the Traffic Department reminds of the tinting regulations. Stay with us.
Want to get away? Now you can.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Everything's gotta go! Horsford's Automotive, everything gotta go! Clearance sale is happening now! All 2018, 2019, and 2020 models gotta go! Yes! Come to Horsford's Automotive and get $10,000 off select 2020 models! That's right! Horsford's Automotive is making room for 2021 by offering $10,000 off select 2020 models! And that's not all! Come now and get 0% down payment! No payment until May 2021! $500 in free groceries, free servicing for 1 year, free bill of sale, free tinting, free registration, free accessories, and free licensing. Horsford's Automotive, everything gotta go clearance sale. The biggest clearance sale event of the year. Select 2020 vehicles, price to go. Everything gotta go. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Flow Broadband and TV is packed with even more value as you get a free Samsung tablet, free installation, and 50% off your bill for 3 months when you sign up now. Yes, a free Samsung tablet. Power all you do at home with up to 100 megabits per second super fast broadband. Plus, stay HD entertained with Flow TV. Stream, share, and do more on your new free tablet, which will also keep you connected on the go with ease. Sign up at a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Welcome back. An emergency meeting was held at the police training school on Monday, at which the High Command of the police force met with officers working here who are from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The purpose of the meeting was to discuss ways the High Command could assist the officers who had family members and or property in the red and orange zones in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and others who would be adversely affected otherwise. Commissioner of Police Hilary Brandy outlined the options to the men and committed to helping them as much as possible. He said, quote, "We want you to know that we are very concerned about you and your families, and we will do everything that we can to help. Assistant Commissioner of Police Andrew Mitchell said, quote, "Your welfare is our welfare," adding that many of them had given dedicated service to the country, some for decades. Inspector Reynold Myers, a national of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, has served the Federation for close to 30 years. As a young boy, he had experienced the La Soufrière volcano's last eruption. Knowing the mental toll the current situation might be taking on his fellow officers, he offered words of motivation. He said, quote, "I encourage you to keep morale high. This is not the time to drop your guard and be shaken. I must commend the High Command for this initiative. It's good to see you are all here, but you still have to stay focused," end quote. The Traffic Department is reminding motorists that there is to be no tinting on vehicles unless it's at a particular percentage. Traffic Officer Donnelly Liebert-Shiverton, while on ZIZ's radio program On the Road on Wednesday, said that persons are still committing the offense of having dark tinted windows on their vehicles. She referenced the section of the Vehicle Road and Traffic Act that explains the percentage at which a vehicle can be tinted.
In this section, restricted motor vehicle means any motor vehicle other than a motorcycle where the whole or part of the glass of the windscreen, side or rear windows of the vehicle is obscured by either A, the application of any film, tint or other device, or B, is custom tinted by the manufacturer, that less than 35% of light transmission is possible. What this is clearly saying to us this morning, the GQ, is that once your vehicle is tinted, anything that is 35% and below is against the law. The law says one must be able to stay from the outside and see inside of the vehicle clearly.
For persons who bought their vehicles with a dark tint, she said the licensing authority is not responsible. The responsibility lies with the registered owner of the vehicle.
The licensing authority is not responsible for you having a dark tinted vehicle in your possession, meaning some persons will say to you, "Oh, officer, my vehicle come in, sir, I buy it from TDC, sir." You are now the registered owner of that vehicle, and so therefore the onus is upon you to make sure that the tinting on that vehicle is in accordance with the regulations.
Officer Liebert-Shiverton said in the instance of persons borrowing other people's vehicles with dark tints, if caught, the driver at the time will be served the ticket, not the owner of the vehicle.
Some persons would say to you, "Oh, officer, this is not my vehicle, I borrow it from my friend, or it belongs to my sister." But at the time, you are the one who is driving the vehicle, and so you become responsible. It is true that you are not the registered owner, but when you are borrowing your sister's vehicle or your uncle's truck, you must make sure that the tires are in order, the brakes are in order, the tinting on the vehicle is in order, because you at that time is responsible. Because if a ticket is issued, it would not be issued to the owner, it will be issued to you, the driver, so you become responsible.
On the Road airs every Wednesday on ZIZ Radio and streamed live on all social media platforms. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank has announced plans to speed up the rollout of its newly launched Dcash digital currency program. Mervyn Thompson has more in this report.
Following the launch of the ECCB's Dcash pilot, a new form of digital transactions on March 31st, ECCB Governor Timothy Antwine has announced efforts to fast-track the pilot project. When it was launched 2 weeks ago, it was stated that the pilot should last 1 year. This was, however, before the eruption of the La Soufrière volcano in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In light of this, Mr. Antwine announced plans to speed up the process during the opening remarks of the ECCB's 5th Growth and Resilience Dialogue, which began on Wednesday.
The people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines are hurting right now, and we are hurting with them. Today we stand shoulder to shoulder with them in this moment of grave challenge. We will continue to cover them in our prayers and show our love and solidarity through our sacrificial giving. The ECCB's immediate support will include a cash grant approved by the Monetary Council from our fiscal tranche 2, personal contributions from ECCB management and staff, participation in the macro socioeconomic assessment of the disaster, and expedited rollout of Dcash given the situation.
With Dcash, users will be able to pay or transfer money without fees, access a platform to store cash, and to receive personal digital financial reports without the need for bank accounts, among others. The pilot has been rolled out in 4 territories of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. They are St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, and St. Lucia initially, and will be implemented in the other countries shortly. Mervan Thompson reporting for ZIZ News.
And finally, on the local scene, registration has begun for Culturama 2021. The organizing committee says plans are underway to host a COVID-compliant Culturama in Nevis this summer. ZIZ News spoke with Executive Director of the Culturama Secretariat, Antonio Abonati-Liberd, who said they were given the green light after meeting with the National COVID-19 Task Force.
We reached out to the Commissioner of Police and we were invited to do a presentation to the COVID-19 Task Force in St. Kitts, which we did. And a few days ago, on Monday of this week, we would have gotten the go-ahead for Culturama 47. And so we are staging what we have put together, a COVID-compliant Culturama 47 festival.
He said the COVID-compliant Culturama will be a virtual event where the shows will be streamed online.
What we'll be doing is allowing persons who do not get a chance to purchase a ticket to view the events online for a fee. We'll be launching a pay-per-view platform where persons can enjoy Culturama from the comfort of their living rooms, their bedrooms, wherever. We are also looking to the number of watch parties where we'll be reaching out to business establishments, bars, liming spots around Nevis, and asking them to buy streaming packages, and so persons can go to these establishments and view.
He said while the majority of the audience will be online, the laws do allow for up to 80 patrons to attend the events in person at the Cultural Complex and the Cultural Village. The virtual Culturama 2021 runs from July 27th to August 3rd and will include a steel pen competition, the Soca Monarch competition, and the Senior Calypso competition where the finalists will sing 2 songs. Mr. Liberd said there will be no Queen pageant this year, but there will be a culture swimwear contest twinned with the Mr. Cool competition. Coming up in regional news, World Bank provides US $20 million for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The details when we come back.
Everything's gotta go! Horsford's Automotive, everything gotta go clearance sale is happening now! All 2018, 2019, and 2020 models gotta go! Yes! Come to Horsford's Automotive and get $10,000 off select 2020 models! That's right! Horsford's Automotive is making room for 2021 by offering $10,000 off select 2020 models! And that's not all! Come now and get 0% down payment! No payment until May 2021! $500 in free groceries, free servicing for 1 year, free bill of sale, free tinting, free registration, free accessories, and free licensing. Horsford's Automotive, everything gotta go clearance sale. The biggest clearance sale event of the year. Select 2020 vehicles, price to go. Everything gotta go. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
It takes a village
to raise our children
into productive citizens
and progressive communities.
It takes a village
to provide support to our young people
who are going down the wrong path
and need family and community support.
It takes a village
to help our children who have made a mistake,
to take responsibility
and learn from their mistakes.
It takes a village
to actively help in the rehabilitation of our youth,
to assist them in being productive,
to reintegrate back into our communities.
It takes a village
to care about each other,
to lift up our children
and make them into better adults.
It takes a village to give our youths
a chance for change.
Join the movement
and give our children a chance for change.
This message is brought to you by the USAID OECS Juvenile Justice Reform Project 2, funded by the United States Agency for International Development. For more information, log on to oecs.org/JJRP.
And we're moving now to news on the regional scene. The World Bank has made available $20 million to support the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in response to the crisis posed by the La Soufrière volcano eruption, it said in a press release dated April 13th. The eruption began on April 9th and has required the evacuation of 20,000 people from the high-risk zones around the volcano, both to other parts of St. Vincent and surrounding countries. Explosions are continuing and the falling ash is causing air quality concerns and interruptions in electricity and water supply. According to the release, Tastine Sayed, World Bank Country Director for the Caribbean, said, "Our hearts are with the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines during this crisis. We are committed to supporting the response efforts at this critical time when the country faces this new disaster while already managing the social and economic effects of the pandemic." The funds are disbursed from a contingent credit line from the World Bank known as the Catastrophe Deferred Drawdown Option, CAT-DDO. The CAT-DDO instrument is designed to provide immediate liquidity to support a country's efforts to recover from disasters triggered by natural hazards or a public health emergency. In recent years, the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has been making efforts to strengthen its preparedness and capacity to respond to disasters. The La Soufrière volcano continues to erupt. To date, no one has been arrested for going into the red zone, which is in close proximity to the volcano. But Commissioner of Police for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Colin John, says there have been several arrests for other offenses in the area. Here's more.
Commissioner of Police for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Colin John, says there have been several arrests for other offenses in the area.
We've had some reports of persons attempting to commit theft and other similar offenses. So we apprehended some persons sometime earlier. Well, thus far it has been few and far between, but we are into preventative policing and we don't want any to happen. So that's why we are trying as far as possible to make sure that they do not occur.
Mr. John says the role of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force will be assisting with security on the island for the next few weeks.
Assist in security areas. They will also assist in constructing like baths and things of that nature. Persons who has that expertise, of course. They would also give guidance, because I know that there is a wealth of knowledge. The persons that come here, we're prepared to be guided, we're prepared to be educated.
Mr. John was speaking to Trinidad and Tobago media after the arrival of the Galleon's Passage in St. Vincent on Tuesday. The prevailing issue that is uppermost in the minds of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is the disruption in their water supply. The country's water authority, Central Water and Sewage Authority, has been forced to close off their reservoirs because of the ash fall from the La Soufrière volcano. Director of St. Vincent's National Emergency Management Organization, Michelle Forbes, said the situation is being felt by the entire population.
I think the biggest disruption really is in the water sector, where we have to turn off the system to avoid damage and infiltration by the ash. And of course, once you have a water problem, the entire nation is now being affected. Mainland St. Vincent, that is.
Coming up, India's daily COVID infections soar to a new high. We'll tell you more when we come back.
Imagine having the luxury of putting all your trust in one insurance company and being able to enjoy life to the fullest without having to worry. Well, don't imagine. National Caribbean Insurance is here to take care of all your insurance needs. Insure your life, vehicle, boat, home, belongings, and your future. At NCI, we make it our business to ensure that you enjoy every stage in life. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
Because I want the in-person audience experience at Sugar Mass 50.
I took the vaccine because I want to be performing with all my peoples on Ultra Truck this year for Carnival.
I get vaccinated because I want to be on the road for Sugar Mass 50.
The reason I chose to be vaccinated because I'm a professional as an entertainer, was to have a safer Boyton Carnival.
I am DJ Flame and I got vaccinated because I want Sugar Mass 50 to be greater than ever.
I took the vaccine because I miss entertaining thousands of people and I miss hosting my own events. See you at Sugar Mass 50. Boom.
Get vaccinated quickly to turn up Sugar Mass 50.
India's new coronavirus infections have reached a record of 184,372 in the last 24 hours, Health Ministry data showed on Wednesday, as most parts of the South Asian nation battles a second and more vicious surge in cases. Al Jazeera's Elizabeth Poranam reports.
A long line of ambulances outside a COVID-19 hospital in the state of Gujarat. Inside are patients struggling to breathe and waiting for a bed to become available. Gujarat is one of many states where the hospitals are overcrowded and they don't have enough equipment or healthcare workers to deal with the current caseload.
The ambulances bring in the patients who are on oxygen supply. Some of them are critical and they're admitted first as soon as the beds with ventilators are available. The patients who are on oxygen supply through the Venturi masks are given that in 108 ambulances.
As patients wait for beds, the families of the dead mourn for their loved ones. Nowhere is the situation as bad as in the state of Maharashtra, where migrant workers crowded bus and train terminals after more restrictions were announced. The closing down of all but essential services has seen many daily wage earners lose their jobs. They want to travel to their home states, afraid the government might shut down public transport as it did last year.
It's the common man who suffers the most. I have come here from Uttar Pradesh. I have no ration card or any other local documents. Only those who are local and have a ration card will get groceries. Outsiders don't get anything at all. How will migrant workers feed themselves? That's why they're leaving for their villages.
State leader Uddhav Thackeray said he had no choice but to impose the restrictions.
This disease is spreading at a very horrifying pace. I say horrifying because today's number of positive cases in the state is the highest so far.
Maharashtra's 125 million people will only be allowed to go out for work and shop for essential supplies including groceries and medicines until the end of April.
As India witnesses the world's biggest surge in cases, the Health Ministry says it will fast-track emergency approvals for the Pfizer, Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. That's amid continuing reports of vaccine shortages in the country, which produces 60% of all the vaccines in the world. Elizabeth Puranam, Al Jazeera, New Delhi.
Argentina is reporting a record number of new COVID-19 cases with more than 27,000 infections confirmed on Tuesday. But with millions of Argentinians struggling to make ends meet, the government is reluctant to impose more restrictions on movement. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bo reports.
Food is a human right, say these people in the center of Buenos Aires. They gathered in Argentina's capital to demand more government help. Sebastián Subizarreta says poverty rates are on the rise and millions of people are struggling to survive.
La salida es con trabajo.
We understand the way out is with work and that we're in a complex situation, but there are resources. The government will have to choose whether to continue paying for foreign debt or take care of those people that can barely make ends meet.
The pandemic poses a major challenge for Argentina. The government is already assisting over 10 million people with food and cash handouts. But the economy has deteriorated rapidly. The country is struggling to pay its foreign debts, and still every day, around 20,000 new infections are confirmed. There is an evening curfew here in the capital, and access to public transport is limited, but authorities are reluctant to declare another full lockdown like they did last year, fearing the consequences that might come from closing the economy completely.
There's no social margin to shut down everything. There are lots of people that don't eat meat if they don't work. The government has fewer tools than they did last year, and that's why it's crucial they accelerate the vaccination campaign. They cannot focus only on restrictions because there is no support and there is need on the street.
Even though Argentina has one of the strongest public healthcare systems in Latin America, institutions and workers here are under stress.
The rise in infections in these past weeks have most hospitals in Buenos Aires at full capacity. In some locations, they're already transferring patients to other areas in order to cope with the demand. In this hospital, people have been waiting for hours to go inside an emergency room.
Antonio Laureano is a construction worker and says he rushed to the hospital because he was feeling ill.
My throat hurts, my back hurts, I have difficulty breathing. I've been waiting for a while to see a doctor.
But experts say this is the beginning of a second wave. With a long winter ahead and scarce resources, authorities are evaluating when is the best time to shut down. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Buenos Aires.
Next in sports, Challengers Exodus and Sandy Point Falcons registered wins in Senior Basketball League, and Japan faces major hurdles with 100 days until Tokyo Olympics. Stay with us.
Imagine having the luxury of putting all your trust in one insurance company and being able to enjoy a life to the fullest without having to worry. Well, don't imagine. National Caribbean Insurance is here to take care of all your insurance needs. Insure your life, vehicle, boat, home, belongings, and your future. At NCI, we make it our business to ensure that you enjoy every stage in life. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
The coronavirus is bad, so there is one thing we can do. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands.
Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. To keep away the flu, there is one thing we must do. Wash our hands, wash our hands, wash our hands.
First up in sports, National Bank Senior Basketball League continued on Tuesday with 2 games. In the first game, challengers Exodus defeated Upfront Ballers 71-65. For Exodus, Delvin Marshall 22 points, 17 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. Chesney James 16 points, 11 rebounds. Jamal Sutton 14 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. For Upfront, Craig Brooks 15 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 7 steals, 2 blocks. Justin Batt 14 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists and 2 steals. In the second game, Ian K. Minimat Sunny Point Falcons defeated Ghetto Roots 97-66. For Falcons, Leston Wiltshire 26 points, 20 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. Grammy Brown 19 points, 25 rebounds, 10 assists, 5 steals, 2 blocks. Garfield Hodge 12 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. For Ghetto Roots, Yannick Roberts 13 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. Scotty Tyson 12 points, 12 rebounds, 3 steals. The league continues on Thursday with 2 games. In the first game, Famke Birdrock Uprisers will take on Newton Ground Blazers at 6:30. Then at 8:30, Atiba Harris St. Peter's Runners versus defending champs M&D Construction Inner City Conquerors. With 100 days to go until the opening ceremony, the International Olympic Committee says it is in no doubt that the Tokyo Games will take place. That is despite a rise in coronavirus cases in the country and polls surging. The vast majority of Japanese people want the Olympics to be cancelled. Al Jazeera's Andy Richardson reports.
Events to mark the 100-day countdown to the start of the Tokyo Games were necessarily low-key. The city has just raised its COVID-19 alert level, and government experts say Japan is heading into a 4th wave of infections. Organisers, though, are resolute in their commitment to the event going ahead.
And have no hesitation in saying the Games will take place, and they'll be the safest Games possible. All of the countermeasures have been put in place to deal with COVID, to ensure that the public, the athletes and all of the other participants are safe.
We can expect that emotions will run even higher because of the significance of the world being together for the first time in a pandemic situation. There are so much expectations from the world community.
11,000 athletes will compete at the Games. The International Olympic Committee say being vaccinated isn't a prerequisite for taking part, but many countries are hoping they will be able to offer their athletes the option of getting vaccinated.
The athletes and the officials are going into Tokyo. The world is going to Tokyo. So in terms of looking after the health and well-being of the athletes and also giving them that confidence that they have been vaccinated is going to be very important to their performance.
The Torch Relay is an event designed to raise awareness and interest levels in the Games. But the most recent poll of Japanese public opinion suggested that more than 70% want the event cancelled or postponed. And Matsuyama City has just called off its leg of the relay due to rising coronavirus cases.
We have medical professionals here questioning why the Games are going on, saying it's too big a risk. Despite all that, it is going on. It's going on because the International Olympic Committee lives off television revenue and it must get these Games on television. Secondly, the Japanese state has invested perhaps $15 billion in these Games. Prime Minister Suga, I think, is staking his claim to perhaps extending his prime ministership on making these Games successful. So the Japanese public cannot back off, and so the Games go on.
Tokyo sold itself as a safe pair of hands when it won the right to host the Games in 2013. That claim is now being tested in a way few would have thought possible. Andy Richardson, Al Jazeera.
And that's it for sports. When we come back, we'll have another look at the stories that made the headlines.
wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. To keep away the flu, there is one thing we must do. Wash our hands, wash our hands, wash your hands.
And we're wrapping up with a recap of the top stories. The Tourism Minister announces that cruise ships will return in June. Prime Minister thanks the public for assisting St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And hotels offer rooms to accommodate evacuees. And that's the end of the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Berridge. Bye.